Big Venture fans, good morning, or good afternoon rather. Welcome to the second to last park on the Coastin Thru Texas tour. We are here at none other than Six Flags Over Texas. This is my first ever time here, so I'm really excited for tons of roller coasters. New Texas Giant. This is also the world's oldest Six Flags park. So I'm excited for the RMC, the first ever RMC, Aquaman, Shockwave, Mr. Freeze, and much more. So it's going to be a wonderful day here. So let's go inside, have some fun, and check it out. Okay, so I'm really excited. This is a park neither of us have ever been to. So we're starting off with Aquaman Powerwave, which is the newest roller coaster. So you do get wet. It is really cold here. It's about 55 degrees. So we're gonna try to stay as warm as possible. We brought a change of clothes, so there's the first top hat there. And then we're gonna kind of just make our way around the park. We're not quite sure of the layout, but I guess that's Pandemonium there. And then New Texas Giant's over there, so we'll eventually make our way that way. So we're gonna get a locker and get on Aquaman. So I'll let you know what it's like when we get off this thing. I'm really impressed by this park entrance. Actually, before we go to Aquaman, we're gonna change our clothes. So I'm gonna head to the locker over here, get an all-day locker, and then head back over there. So this carousel is absolutely beautiful. I'm really impressed by this park already. All right, so just like any other Six Flags park, it shows all the wait times here. So we got Flash Pass because as part of the Diamond Elite membership, we got upgrade from gold to platinum for only $100. So we're gonna utilize that because these crowds are pretty bad. It is Saturday, so it's gonna be a little more packed than usual. All right, as you see, I've got my rain jacket on. Ronnie's got his poncho. We get soaked on this ride. So we're gonna sit towards the middle. It is really cold. This thing looks pretty cool. So there it is. We're gonna start off with this. All right, so we just got off Aquaman Powerwave. That definitely was not dry as heck. That definitely was not as wet as I thought it was gonna be.
My poncho might be wet.
So I'm glad we didn't change. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It's got some good backwards ejector airtime. Not as intense as Pantheon, but kind of feels that way a little bit. So yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool. So it wasn't as wet as I thought. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I guess we're gonna head our way down the park and Texas Giant or whichever. We'll just walk to whatever. So, but yeah, it's a beautiful day. A little cold, but it's really pretty here. All right, so I think we're gonna do El Diablo, which is the Larson Looper, and then we're gonna do Titan, which is the hyper coaster up there, and then probably do New Texas Giant, which is right over the red roof. All right, so there's New Texas Giant, the first RMC ever to be built. So we're gonna go do that here in a minute. But first, we're gonna head over to Titan, which is that big, massive hyper coaster, which is right over there. All right, so we've made it to Titan, which is the massive hyper coaster. So here's the entrance. I've heard it's hard to get to, so we'll try our best to get there. So we're gonna go ride that real quick. And then after that, we will be at New Texas Giant. All right, so we're waiting going up the Flash Pass line for Titan. So this is kind of like a clone of Goliath and Six Flags Magic Mountain, which I have not gotten yet. So we'll see how this is. All right, just got off Titan. That thing was actually surprisingly smooth. Although I don't like the second half of it because, well, we're in the back and it probably lags more in the front, but towards the back, after the mid-course, it really slows down, almost comes to a complete halt. But yeah, it was really fun. Good floater airtime section in there. So yeah, I definitely thought it was better than I thought it was gonna be, so yeah, it was pretty fun. So we'll try that again later. New Texas Giant, the original Rocky Mountain Construction hybrid. Okay, so we came this far and New Texas Giant was dispatching and it's stuck and we are this close. Oh, good Lord.
20 minutes later.
All right, New Texas Giant is back in operation. So I just rode it the first time in the back. I'm going to do it again. So getting ready to go for a second ride. I'll do the review once this is done. But this is a pretty good ride. So I just got off the world's first RMC New Texas Giant. Really good ride. Better airtime than I was expecting. Not as much towards the end, but is it as good as Iron Rattler? No. Is it as good as Steel Vengeance and Iron Gwazi? No. Is it the best RMC? No. Is it the first RMC? Yes. Is it better than, let's say, Lightning Rod? Maybe. I think Lightning Rod's still better. So this is probably one of the weaker RMCs that I've done, but it was the first one and I got the credit. So I did it twice in a row. First time in the back and then second time in the front. So it was really good. I think I'm gonna go around and probably do it another time, but we're just gonna go get the credits. So I think the next place we're gonna go is Gotham City and then probably head to Shockwave after that. So now we're waiting in line for El Diablo, which is the Larson Looper. Alright, similar to like Fiesta Texas, the different areas of the park are differently themed. So like this is the Mexico section of the park, so it's kind of cool. And all the rides are Mexican themed, so it's a little bit different than Fiesta. Here's the famous Looney Tunes section.
That's all, folks.
Okay, so we're headed towards Gotham City here. There's Justice League, so Six Flags Over Georgia has one of those. I may do that a little bit later, and also Six Flags Great Adventure has a clone. There's Aquaman here. So I think we're gonna head into Gotham City to probably do Pandemonium on the way. So it's kind of exactly like the one at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, except for a different color scheme. And Mr. Freeze and Batman are back there, so I think we're gonna head this way and hit those three coasters. All right, so up there's Mr. Freeze. And Runaway Mine Train is unfortunately closed, so we're not going to get that credit. So yeah, this is closed until May from what I've heard. So we'll probably do Mini Mine Train, which is the coaster right over here. And then do Pandemonium after we get something to eat, and then do Batman and then Mr. Freeze. Kind of hate that it's closed because Runaway Mine Train is an Ace roller coaster landmark. That's too bad. Alright, so I've been to a lot of Six Flags parks, and now we're entering Gotham City. And it looks like the Joker, which is the SNS free spin here, looks like it's going to be closed for the day as well, so it looks like we'll be missing out that credit, unfortunately. So over here we're looking at Batman the Ride, which is the park's B&M invert, another Batman clone. I think we're going to eat here Johnny Rockets, which is typical park food. And then there's the Zamperla Discovery. That's Riddler's Revenge. But that's open for Screambreak, so I think we're going to ride that tonight. All right, it's kind of unfortunate about Six Flags Over Texas. The rides are closed today. It's like Catwoman Whip is closed. Riddler's Revenge is open. That's the Pendulum. Joker, which is kind of a clone of all the other SNS free spins in the Six Flags and Toonbilly, is closed too. So it's kind of like riding the one at Six Flags at Great Adventure all over again. So we won't be getting this credit because that's closed for the day. That's too bad. See, there's a lot of Screambreak props around. Kind of like they did at Fiesta Texas. So it's kind of like Halloween's or Scarowinds or Fright Fest in March. So like sliders and people kind of scaring people, and so we'll be back for that this evening. You see a lot of decorations, creeping it real, and all that other stuff. I always love the Gotham City portions of the Six Flags parks because they're very well themed. So I think we're gonna hit up Batman the Ride, which is the park's B&M invert. We're probably gonna do that because that's on the way to Mr. Freeze, which is right over there. All right, I was wrong. I've never been here before, so we got Batman here, and Mr. Freeze is right over here. Here's the Batmobile. And there's the entrance to Gotham City Park, and that's where the entrance to Batman is. All right, just got on Batman the Ride, the Six Flags Over Texas version. Honestly, I think it felt a lot like the one at Over Georgia. Pretty forceful, it's a fun. So, yeah, just another Batman clone. So next we're gonna hit Freeze, which used to be Mr. Freeze Reverse Glass, but they converted it and just into Mr. Freeze, so we're gonna go get that real quick. Also, this ride will be one of the coasters that's open for Screambreak, so we'll get to marathon this tonight. Alright, so we've had a little bit of loss of luck, so Mr. Freeze actually just went down, so we're gonna go do Pandemonium, which is the park's spinning coaster, which is a lot like the one at Fiesta Texas. Alright, we're gonna kind of dig into Six Flags history, with this being the first Six Flags park in the chain, opening in 1961. We're gonna go a little throwback and take a look at the old steam train. As I said, Mr. Freeze went down, so then we were gonna go to Pandemonium, but the mini mine train does not have flash pass, so we'll have to wait in this line, which is okay. But you know, we'll have to wait for the credit, so we're gonna do this and then head to Pandemonium afterwards. All right, just got off mini mine train. Pretty fun, typical little mine train, kind of like a miniature version of it. So now we've made it back to Pandemonium, the Six Flags Over Texas version. Alright, so just got off Pandemonium. It reminds me a lot of the one at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Really fun. Probably the Fiesta Texas one spun a little bit more, but that was pretty cool too, so yeah. So I think next we're gonna head to either Mr. Freeze, or I'm not quite sure yet. Maybe Shockwave, Judge Roy Scream, we gotta hit that too, so we'll see y'all at the next ride. Alright guys, so now we're headed to, here's Texas Skyscraper, which is basically Six Flags Windseeker. But now we're headed to the park's wooden roller coaster. You gotta go under the road. We're gonna ride Judge Roy Scream. Alright, luckily this thing's a walk-on because this does not take Flash Pass. So we'll be able to ride this thing right away. Looks pretty fun. Alright, so Judge Roy Scream is probably the oldest wooden roller coaster in the park, actually the only wooden roller coaster. So you basically have to walk outside the park to get to the ride. But it's pretty cool. Very old fashioned. I love these old wooden roller coasters. Alright, so we just got off Judge Roy's Scream, which is the park's only wooden roller coaster. Imagine riding it along with the original Texas Giant. That would have been the second wooden roller coaster. So, but yeah, that was lots of fun. Kind of reminds me of Great American Scream Machine at Six Flags Over Georgia. Kind of gives a vibe of that, but very smooth for a wooden coaster for sure. So we all rode it in the back. It was really fun. So I think now we're gonna head to the bobsled coaster, whatever you call it. I can't remember the Bobadora or whatever it's called. Bobabora. So we're gonna hit there and then Shockwave and then hit the other 2 credits. Alright, so here's a few of the last few credits we need. This is the bobsled coaster, Lava Bora, so we're gonna go hit this up real quick. And I think we have 2 more credits to go after this. Alright, so we just got off the park's bobsled coaster, Lava Bora. So it's like a typical any other bobsled coaster, kind of like Reptilian / Avalanche at King's Dominion, except for there's only 1 cart versus a whole train. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So I think next we're heading to Shockwave, which is the Schwarzkopf coaster. So here we go. Change of plans. We're gonna go into Bugs Bunny Boomtown and hit the Wile E. Coyote kiddie coaster before we hit Runaway Mountain. So here we go. Alright, so scratch off Wile E. Coyotes. Apparently you have to have a kid under a certain height to ride that ride. Couldn't ride that ride, unfortunately. So now I guess we're gonna France. We're gonna do Runaway Mountain. Alright, so we've made it to Runaway Mountain, which is the park's dart coaster. Alright, we have not had the best luck of open rides here today. Like, they're either closed coasters or coasters we can't ride because we're too tall and we need kids. So we're gonna go over to Shockwave. That's the last credit we need because Runaway Mountain went down. So we're gonna head over to Shockwave, which is right over that way. Alright, so we're gonna go knock out Mr. Freeze, who's right over here since we're over here. So instead of Shockwave, yeah, we're gonna do Mr. Freeze and then Shockwave and then head back to Runaway Mountain. Alright, so just got off Mr. Freeze. So that was really cool, a nice premier launch coaster that goes forwards and backwards. Now, they changed the reverse part, which used to go backwards up the spike, now it goes forwards up the spike and back. So we sat in the back. I think for Screambreak, we're gonna sit up front because you go higher up the spike. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I really liked the launch and very forceful. I like those premier rides, coasters. So I think we're gonna hit 2 Shockwave and then Runaway Mountain to end it off because the other 2 credits that we had on this here at Six Flags Over Texas are closed. Alright, so there's Shockwave right there. We're headed there. That's the Schwarzkopf looper, and I heard you guys get whipped in the back seat over that first drop. Looking forward to this coaster. And there it goes up the lift hill. Standing underneath the big giant famous observation tower. I think I may go up there tomorrow and get some aerial shots. I'm not going to go up there tonight just because of time. All right, here we are at Shockwave. So let's go take a ride. Okay, so I just got off Shockwave, and that was probably one of the best Schwarzkopf loopers. I prefer that over Mindbender at Six Flags Over Georgia, personally. And if you sit in the back, you get whipped over those drops. Oh my gosh. That thing was absolutely incredible. And I really liked it. I think it was a really great ride. And I'll probably do it again tomorrow, because tomorrow, I think today we're focusing on the credits, but tomorrow we're gonna kind of re-ride and do all that stuff. So that is the second to the last credit we need. So the last one we need is Runaway Mountain. So I'm headed there now. So we'll see y'all over there. Wow, look at the oil derrick looking all pretty. It's all lit up in orange. So gorgeous. Okay, so we're back at Six Flags Over Texas, here for the Screambreak event here as well. So we're headed to the Gotham City Park. So basically there's a few coasters that are open. So it's Batman the Ride, and then followed by, let's see, a few of them will be Mr. Freeze and Aquaman. So we're gonna go hit those rides. It's probably too cold for Aquaman, so I'm probably gonna reserve that for the second ride tomorrow, which I did ride earlier today. And then Riddler's Revenge, which is the Pendulum. I cannot believe that this thing is open. There's no line because it's so freaking cold. But like I said, this is the newest coaster that just opened literally a week ago. And this is where you get soaking wet. Nope, 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 nope. So don't stand over there if you don't want to get wet, especially on a cold day like today. And then this is the Battle of Metropolis, the only clone of this ride that I have not gotten. I've got the one at Six Flags Over Georgia as well as Six Flags Great Adventure, so we'll probably do this tomorrow. Oh, there goes Pandemonium. This was not on the list for the open rides for Screambreak. Yeah, there it goes. All right, so we did Mr. Freeze in the front this time. A lot better in the front, especially when you go forwards up the spike. So that was lots of fun. I think I kind of compare it to basically like Flight of Fear and Joker's Jinx and Poltergeist on steroids. So I think that was crazy. So now we're heading Riddler's Revenge, which is the giant pendulum. And then we'll do the Sky Screamer. All right, getting ready to do the Six Flags version of Windseeker. Way up there. This thing is really tall. Yeah. All right, guys, it is 11:55. We got 5 more minutes to do one more ride on Mr. Freeze. So it's right here. We're getting ready to do this thing. All right, it's literally midnight, and looks like we're gonna get a Zen ride because there's like nobody here. But we're gonna do it in the front row because the front row is the best. All right, guys, we're literally the last people here. It's over. It's after midnight. Just did last ride of the night on Mr. Freeze. That was epic in the front row. Actually did it twice in a row, believe it or not. That was absolutely fantastic. I swear that thing is basically like Flight of Fear on steroids and Joker's Jinx on steroids. So that concludes day 1 of Six Flags Over Texas. We're also going to do a vlog tomorrow, so stay tuned. It'll all be combined in the same vlog. So thank you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry, couldn't figure out which way to go. So that's a wrap for tonight, day 1. We're also going to do Six Flags Frontier City. We're going to do Frontier City tomorrow, which will be a different vlog. Stay tuned for day 2 of Six Flags Over Texas. We will see y'all tomorrow.